What's going on, people? Today I will be talking about Bad Boys for Life on Blu-ray and 4K, and I have already talked about this movie when I reviewed the digital stream, and you can check that out right up top over here. And without any other further ado, let me get straight into the video quality. Starting off with the Blu-ray, and this movie looks every bit as good as you would expect it to look. It was shot all digitally, you can tell, and it's a very crisp, very clean, very smooth looking movie without the over-the-top cinematography that Michael Bay tends to have. But for me, this is a very good substitute. You still have clarity here that is top-notch because of just the slick style of this movie. There is very little grain here and a whole lot of depth, and I feel like this movie really is the clearest out of all the Bad Boy movies on Blu-ray, and that is for sure. Detail work is great. You, specifically in close-ups, can see individual pores on characters' faces, and with the whole scenery of Miami and a lot of the flavor in this movie comes through with the detail work, and that is also just top notch. And blacks are pretty important to this movie because of the pops of color that come through those black levels, and those black levels do dip perfectly to black here, no grays. And yeah, for that, I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. It's not reference quality, but it is the next best thing. And then for the 4K, you know what? This is a 2K digital intermediate. I mentioned that in the digital stream, and guess what? They haven't changed it yet on IMDb, so I am pretty sure that this was a 2K digital intermediate. It looks it. And what I will say about that is it doesn't have the 4K crispiness of something like Gemini Man, which was a 4K digital intermediate and was filmed at a heightened frame rate. But, I mean, this still has some pretty damn good clarity, specifically for 2K digital intermediates. You get even more depth here than in the Blu-ray. And I noticed it a lot more in wider shots. You get even more clarity and less softness. And that is something that is actually stepped up from the digital stream as well. Now, with the whole separation from the foreground from the background, you can notice it the most during car chase scenes, or at least I did. Specifically in the car chase scene after the nightclub. I feel like that scene definitely had some great depth to it. Detail work here is absolutely stellar. Pores on everybody's face, and a lot of the detail on clothing gets stepped up in the 4K release here. That is always awesome. And then when you're talking about HDR, that is where this disc truly does shine. And that is because of the fact that this movie has excellent pops of color in it. Specifically, like, good contrast. Like, a lot of pops of color come in at night. A lot of neon comes in at night scenes. And what you get from that is the contrast between deep blacks from being shot at night, and then the bright pops of color that you get just from Miami nightlife in general, and then the explosions that happen in the film, and a lot of the gunfire. A lot of it is eye-blinding, and you will need your sunglasses. I feel like this HDR is great stuff. I wish it gave us Dolby Vision, but it didn't. I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. It's not reference quality material, but it is damn good. And getting into the audio here, for the Blu-ray, you get a DTS HD 5.1 mix that is pretty good. It's very aggressive as far as bass response goes, and that is something that you definitely want from this movie in high action moments. And in the kickin' score, I definitely feel like it brings the flavor, and that is awesome. Along with that, you also have speaker separation that is top-notch. Surround speakers are very active, and clarity in dialogue is excellent as well. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. It is pretty damn good. But it has nothing on the 4K release because that gets kicked up to a IMAX enhanced DTS-X mix. That is awesome. And right from the top, even though the bass response in the Blu-ray was pretty good, this is absolutely excellent. It's what you notice from frame one. The score of this movie has some kick and bass, and it thumps, and it will rock your house. Along with that, you do get some great bass with action moments. Now, this score actually does a great job of juggling the score of the film during action moments and having them both come in simultaneously and really kick. That is something that you actually really, really want to look at, and it is a highlight here. Along with that, speaker separation is top-notch. The surrounds are constantly used, and I feel like I got more work out of the height speakers than what I expected. A lot of that came through the score or a lot of ambient noises, and then at times when the action does kick in, like in the highway chase in the middle of the film, I feel like the action kicks in those height speaker moments from gunfire, and a lot of that is concerned. But it is very prominent, and that is something that I definitely did like. I wouldn't say this is reference quality material, but it is the next best thing, and I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. And then when we're getting into the digital copy here, this is a Movies Anywhere digital copy, which means that you can download the digital version on iTunes and on Vudu. So, as far as the special features here are concerned, none of them are actually on the 4K disc except for previews. I'm not even going to count those. Instead, where they all are is in the Blu-ray. You get some deleted scenes, you get some outtakes, you get some comedy bits, and you get the very stereotypical, very short making of doc. I feel like this is hitting very stereotypical notes. They're not going to do anything special here. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. It is just subpar. And getting into my last looks at Bad Boys for Life, this is what I really wanted out of this movie. I know that some people did not get the over-the-top vibe that Michael Bay brings to films from this movie, and they expected that. But I really wanted a more calmed down, less sporadic, and just in-your-face film. I wanted more drama, and this movie kind of gave that to me while still giving me decent enough action that I felt like this was a good Bad Boys sequel. It's not the kind of action that you're going to see specifically in Bad Boys 2. The way that Bad Boys 2 was an escalation from Bad Boys 1, I don't feel like the action here is an escalation of Bad Boys 2. That movie just brought out all the stops, and this one, it brings it back a little bit. But I still did enjoy this, and if you didn't watch my movie review of Bad Boys 2 when I reviewed the digital stream, I gave it an 8 out of 10. And when you add up all my scores for Bad Boys for Life, you come out to a 29 on Blu-ray and a 30 on 4K. That difference is only because of the fact that you get an upgraded audio track on the 4K version. If you like this movie, you will be well served by any one of these, the Blu-ray or the 4K. And so coming up next, I am going to review another Criterion film that is going to be The Grand Budapest Hotel. I have that coming to me. It's actually going to be getting here on Thursday as of this recording, so look forward to that. And like always, thank you for watching my videos. You guys are awesome. I don't even say it because you all know it, and I will see all of you next time.